Die Hard 2 is just considered a joke, and it really is. This isn't to say that the film has no enjoyable attributes, although these are mainly due to it being effectively dumb action fare. The script just exists to deliver excuses for McClane to get into even more sensational hijinks than the first film, and more violence, more ruthless deaths to boot. We have a guy getting electrocuted in the baggage press, guy crushed with a working rig, guy stabbed in the eye with an icicle, guy crashing into an ice river, probably freezing to death, and then that Major Grant getting sucked into the jet engine. This is a damn bloodthirsty flick. Renny Harlin is also considered a bit of a joke, although I wouldn't consider this a poorly directed film. I'm not sure if any director could have elevated this film beyond its entirely ridiculous screenplay. Harlan has so little credits of note. Die Hard 2 is the most interesting film there, arguably, along with perhaps Nightmare on Elm Street for The Dream Child and the 1999 Shark film, which has garnered something of an enthused cult following, Deep Blue Sea. I don't know, is 2018's Legend of the Ancient Sword any good? Sequels are kind of an interesting thing. You won't expect Die Hard 2 to pop up on anyone's list of greatest sequels. Maybe Die Hard with a Vengeance, possibly. I looked at a couple of best sequel lists. One from Cinefix featured, in chronological order, Goldfinger, Dawn of the Dead, The Empire Strikes Back, Back to the Future 2, Terminator 2, Casino, as a spiritual sequel to Goodfellas, I suppose. Old Boy and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance as the thematic continuations of Chan-wook's feature Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Creed, the Rocky spin-off released in 2015. 10 Cloverfield Lane, loose as its connection is with the Cloverfield from 2008. And Blade Runner 2049. I think that Goldfinger is okay. I prefer the first two Bond films and Thunderball as well, along with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and maybe a couple others released after that. License to Kill, Casino Royale '06. I have a soft spot for Man with the Golden Gun, I have to admit. Dawn of the Dead, I completely agree, as with, of course, The Empire Strikes Back, Terminator 2, and I really, really like Blade Runner 2049 also. I sort of like Back to the Future 2, but I'm not overly fond of it. Casino I really never got much out of. I never thought it remotely came close to Scorsese's Goodfellas. I'm a tremendous fan of Old Boy. Lady Vengeance, really less so. Mr. Vengeance is pretty fascinating for what it is, I feel. Creed may as well be as much as I like a Rocky film, as I was never really taken with those films. 10 Cloverfield Lane I actually didn't get much out of, although I have a weird soft spot for the original. It seems possibly silly, although there is something I wholly admire about it. Empire Online's list of the greatest sequels from 50 to 1. Shrek 2. I mean, I don't really think much of the Shrek films, nor that one. I don't think it's as good as the first film, at least my memories of when I saw those movies as a kid, when I was at primary school. I liked the first film more overall, but anyway. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, not a big fan of either of those things, frankly. Infernal Affairs 2. Yeah, I remember liking that, not as much. The first film's pretty great. I haven't seen that in years. And I remember thinking the sequel was inferior but fairly solid for what it was. Airplane 2, the sequel. I've only seen some scenes from that, like the scenes of Shatner on YouTube. I don't know. I like the first one, but I don't have motivation to watch fucking Airplane 2, you know what I mean? Star Trek First Contact. I mean, it's the best of those four next-gen movies, but it's okay. It's still not that great, frankly. Naked Gun 2. I don't think I saw it in full. I think I saw a couple scenes on TV. It didn't impress me. I do like the first one. It's very, very funny. Hellboy 2. Oh man, you know I love those. It's like the greatest thing in comic books that wasn't penned by Alan Moore. I mean, I do really love those two Del Toro films. I quite like the Neil Marshall film from 2019 as well. Actually, I just like the iconography of the comics enough that I thought it was a solid romp. And Neil Marshall has some good films. I honestly feel. Yeah, the Del Toro films, yeah, absolutely love them, just like I love a lot of Del Toro's films. Frankenstein I thought was really, really, really strong, released very recently. And, there's another Hellboy film out, A Crooked Man. I haven't seen that yet. That's one of Hellboy's best stories ever, Crooked Man, so hopefully the film, I don't think the film was very well received, but neither was not 2019, I liked that one, so. 28 weeks later, I mean, if this list was published now, they'd have 28 years later on there instead. I haven't seen Bone Temple. I ought to get around to that, actually. Yeah, my goodness. Weeks later, it's okay. The first one's way better. I'm not crazy about weeks, I'll admit. Blade 2, Del Toro again, yeah. Blade 2 is way better than the first one, and the first one's quite cool. Those are the two of the better Marvel films. Like, most of the Marvel films based off Marvel comics are kind of tepid. Some of the X-Men films are good, particularly Days of Future Past to me is the best Marvel Comics film adaptation. Deadpool and Wolverine is really fun too, I'll say. But it's rare when I think a Marvel Comics film adaptation, MCU or not, is any good. I like the Whedon Avengers films I thought were cool, like those first two, but then Ultron less so, obviously, but I don't know, Civil War and stuff is kind of, all that Russo stuff is crap to me. I just don't care for it. Yeah, Blade Trinity is awful, of course. Deadpool v Wolverine, that's of course Blade coming back. I forget about that. Yeah, that's fun stuff. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors is probably the best of those films. I kind of like Nightmare 2 just because it's bonkers, but yeah, Nightmare 3. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that series, but if you're gonna pick one, I guess it's the third one. Who directed that even? Chuck Russell. Okay. Four Musketeers. I mean, I don't even go in for that stuff. Nah. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Definitely don't go in for that stuff. Die Hard with a Vengeance. There you go. That's the Die Hard film sequel on this list, and the one that deserves it. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Yeah, I gotta watch that again. That was based off of, I think Nigel Neal drafted that, and someone else wrote over it. But yeah, there's a case to be made that that's the only interesting Halloween sequel or remake, whatever. Mission Impossible 3. Yeah, the first one's okay. I mean, I love Brian De Palma, so I can't really, it's hard for me to dislike Mission Impossible 1, actually. I've seen 2 at some point. It's not very memorable. No. That's when John Woo in the English language was pretty disappointing after Better Tomorrow, Killer, Bullet in the Head, Hard Boiled. The English language John Woo was kind of crummy by comparison, I feel. I think a lot of people feel that way. Back to the Future 3, what the fuck? That's terrible. But anyway, yeah, Mission Impossible 3. Yeah, Mission Impossible 3 is better than 2, but not as good. A Ghost Protocol would be the one I'd put. I like that one. I like that one more than the first film, actually. And I saw the fifth, didn't do much for me. I thought it was worse than Ghost Protocol, so I was just like, eh. And then I didn't watch the ones after that. I've seen, I'm sure it's just, they just don't seem that interesting to me, I have to say. But yeah, Back to the Future 3, no, 2's okay, but 3, I can't even. Very fond of the first film, that is good stuff, I have to say. Lost World, wow, I can't imagine people putting this up there. I don't hate Lost World, but there are some sucky things in there. Although I think the dino stuff's pretty fun in it, and I feel similarly about Jurassic Park 3, even though they're both way inferior to the first film, we all know that, but... And then, yeah, I don't like Jurassic World, that from what I saw of Fallen Kingdom, that was actually even worse than the first Jurassic World. I saw the director's cut of Dominion, I actually rather enjoyed it for what it was, and Rebirth was stupid, but I thought it was a hell of... if I can give a pass to Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, I can give a pass to Rebirth. Fuck it, it's fun shit, I don't care. Gremlins 2, yeah, I don't know if I was ever on board with the Gremlins 2, sort of reassessment. I mean, there's fun stuff in it, but there's no Gremlins 1, that's the thing, sadly. Scream 2 is even worse than Scream 1, and Scream 1 is just abominable, frankly. Return to Oz is good stuff. Do I like Return to Oz more than the original? Oh, I mean, yeah, I like Wizard of Oz. A video for that was uploaded here not that long ago, and I mean, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Wizard of Oz, but there's a place in my heart. Return to Oz, that might be more up my alley in the grand scheme of things. I don't know. Lethal Weapon 2. I mean, I don't think that's as good as the first one, but it's got some very funny and ridiculous moments, and you'd certainly rather watch it. And I saw half of Lethal Weapon 3 and I really didn't like it, and from what I've seen of the fourth one, that just seems trash. Yeah, Lethal Weapon 2. I don't think Lethal Weapon 2 belongs on the best sequels list, all with this being said. Dawn of the Dead, yep, can't argue with that whatsoever. Manon of the Spring. I've never seen this one, I know of it. Cloudberry, what's that a sequel to? Follows Jean de Floret. Also Cloudberry. I guess it's like a duology sort of thing. Manon of the Spring. Like, it's a title I've known of for a long enough time that I feel like I've seen it, but I don't know if I have. No. Adam's Family Values. Did I? One of my cousins showed me either this or the first one of these. I don't know which one I saw. Whichever the one with the Black Widow, where she was gonna kill Uncle Fester or whatever. I don't know if that's the first one or the second one. And the daughter goes to some camp and they're dressed as like Native Americans at some point. I don't know, whichever one that is. A Color of Money, nah. The Hustler's cool, but I don't think I can get on board with Color of Money. Last Crusade, it should be Temple of Doom. I don't like Last Crusade as much. Temple of Doom all the way, man. Prisoner of Azkaban, not a Harry Potter guy. I don't think the films are that impressive. If you had to put any of the sequels on here, I guess Prisoner of Azkaban, that's probably the best of them. The one I liked, just because of how old I am, is Chamber of Secrets. I don't think it's a very good movie, but like that's the one I would get a nostalgic kick out of if I had to watch any of them. And Basilisk, Giant Spider, that sort of thing. I like the conviction of the last one, the whole hey, we're wrapping up 7 movies worth of storyline here, because there was a period at the end of 2011 where, because the Harry Potter fever was just enormous in the year that last film would come out, Deathly Hallows 2. Harry Potter's gone into a weird place since then, since the controversy of Rowling's own turf or turf adjacent politics and the massive controversies which are swirling around the new show, some of it seemingly silly. I mean, I don't even know if it's... I've heard it's controversial, but I don't know if it's like because of anything insensitive that it's doing or just because the fans are cranky that they're replacing the actors who were so formative to them. I mean, I was in that age group, and whilst I was not into Harry Potter, I knew many people who were, and they were absolutely fanatic about it. People think like Star Wars fans are fanatic. Like, man, like these Harry Potter fans are pretty out there, and yeah, they would not be happy with it just because it's different from what just carved their psyches, But yeah, so at the end of 2011, people would just be in classes when there was nothing to do at the end of the year, and I was in high school at the time, year 9, and they were just putting on Deathly Hallows Part 2 in these classes, just like, oh, let's watch it again and again. And so I saw that one maybe twice, and it's okay. Back to the Future 2 ranked higher than 3. I gave my thoughts on those earlier. Spider-Man 2, yeah, the best of those 3. I saw the first of the Tom Holland ones, Homecoming in 2017. That was okay, I guess. Spider-Man 2 has its moments. I like the Doc Ock hospital scene, who doesn't, very Sam Raimi. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not that crazy about Spider-Man, even as source material. I do like some of the old Marvel comics to some extent, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, although I don't know if that excitement really extends to Spider-Man, as it were. Yeah, Return of the Jedi, yeah, I did Return of the Jedi, and Ewoks and all, but you can ignore that. Desperado, way more of an El Mariachi fan. Desperado's, it's okay. Way better than that. That third one's kind of crummy. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Day of the Dead, love it, yeah. Born Ultimatum, I'm more of a Supremacy guy. I think Ultimatum's super overrated. There's uploads on this channel that explain my thoughts on that trilogy, actually. New Nightmare, Wes Craven, this series, you know how I feel about this. French Connection 2 is pretty cool. John Frankenheimer, not as strong as the original, but it's a fun and impressive film, I feel. Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter. I thought that was the one people didn't like as much. I knew people my age would talk about that being one of the lesser entries in retrospect. I'm surprised that that's here. I never saw much of it, I don't think. I never saw maybe the start of it. I never saw any scenes from Half-Blood Prince, actually, I think. Temple of Doom, hey, there you go. Batman Returns. Nah, it's okay. Way better than those next two, but I way prefer the 89 film because of Roger Pratt's cinematography, and I do like Nicholson's Joker, I have to admit. Wrath of Khan, fuck yeah. X2, X-Men United. That's a pretty cool one, I guess, but I'm way more into Days of Future Past. Sort of ruined X-Men 2 for me, because I thought Days of Future Past was way better. Apocalypse is garbage, obviously, but weirdly so, bafflingly so. But yeah, you know, X2 was cool before Days of Future Past came out, I suppose. Saw that when I was young. Cool stuff. Evil Dead 2, hell yeah. Superman 2, prefer Donner Cut, but Superman 2 is cool. Yeah, I can agree with that. Before Sunset, yeah, that's my favourite of the three, I would say, actually. Born Supremacy, okay, that's ranked higher, but they're with me on that. Empire Strikes Back, hell yeah. Dark Knight, that's the only one I really like of the three. Batman Begins is okay. Rises is rubbish, I think. The Batman from 2022 I thought was pretty cool. Looking forward to another one of those. Toy Story 2, way better than the original, even as someone who saw both very young and the first. I was aware of the first one for a fair while before ever seeing the second, and I still have better memories of the second and think it's way superior. First is a little overrated, I would argue. Not as an act of technology, but it's just like a, you know, as a cheer or as a charming story, just kind of, it's corny, frankly. Terminator 2, yep. Godfather 2, yep. Aliens, yep. Let's close it here. This video's gone on for way too long, and some of you are probably considering unsubscribing. Well, go ahead if you feel that way.